Hello everyone. Glad to get the laptop up back and working this morning. Compared to last week's dramatic events, but we're just waiting for everyone to gather around, and we're on time this morning, which is good. And we'll get everybody gathering around and watching. I'll get a bit comfier. There we go. Okay. Excuse me. So we're just waiting for everybody to come round. Things you'll need today are the Jesus Storybook Bible. If you've got a copy, we'll be reading our story straight from it. And then you'll also need the resources on aghadowey.pci.co.uk. And there is the memory verse and the little activity for today. There's no real craft as such today. It's more just a wee activity to do. So you don't need any, scissors or glue or cups or paper plates. Don't need any of that. Just print off the page and you'll just have some colouring pencils. Easy peasy, simple as for you this morning. So we're getting everybody around. Let me see. I can't see. We're back onto the new version. I'm not a big fan of the new version of Facebook Live because I can't see who's watching. Oh well, we'll just go with it. I kind of wanted to see the comments today because I kind of needed that, but oh well, I'm just going to go with it. So yeah, let's get started. Over the past few weeks, we've been doing Sunday School Live here in my living room. And oh, I can see the comments now. That's great. And we had an announcement from Stormont last week that churches might resume from the end of June. We're waiting on the edge of our seats to see what that might look like. And if we could maybe have like a wee gathering of our Sunday school, we don't know. But yes, we are waiting on the edge of our seats for Arlene and Michelle to give us the go ahead. But I think we might be here for another week or two. But we'll see. We're just going to go along with it, be flexible, adapt ourselves, and we've got this going. So yeah. Yes. So if you've just tuned in, you need your Storybook Bible, you need your activities printed off from the website aghadowey.pci.co.uk. And over the past few weeks, we have been looking at stories from the Old Testament, from the Jesus Storybook Bible, and seeing what God is telling us about himself through each of the individual stories. We've looked at how God keeps his promises, God makes his plans work out for our good, even when it looks like it's going really, really bad. We've seen how God loves us no matter what. We've seen how God can make us clean, take away our sins. God is our healer, as we learned last week with Naaman being dunked in the river 7 times. But this week, it's not really a story of a person as such. Let me find the page to start off with. That might be a good idea. No, we're heading into Christmas story. That's not it. Oh, here we go. Oh, or Jonah and the fish. Nope, that's next week. Here we are. Operation No More Tears. So it's page 144 in the Jesus Storybook Bible. And it's not really a story as such. It's just sort of a little glimmer of all of what's to come. So I am going to start today with, now I need you to comment in the comments section what you think I might be doing with each of these items. So each of these items relate to something that I'm going to do within the next week. So if I put up my trainers, my running trainers, what do you think I might be doing this week? I want you to comment and get your parent to write in the comments section of what you think I might be doing this week. Now, they're not the cleanest, but they're still good running trainers. What do you think I'm going to be doing with these trainers? I'm going to give you a wee second in case there's a bit of a time delay or you're still trying to figure out how to get me on your TV. That's fine. Let me see. Any comments coming through? What do you think I'm going to do with my trainers? Okay, we've got running. That's a good option. What else can you do with trainers? Might go for a walk. Yeah, go for a walk. Or might take the dog with me. Might Go for a walk along the road? Great. So they show what I might do this week. Okay. So if I've got a DVD of The Blind Side, one of my favourite films ever, what do you think I might be doing with a DVD? What could I be doing with a DVD this week? Let's see, the comments are taking a wee while to load. Oh, they're coming now. Okay. What might I do with a DVD? Let's give everybody a wee second for time delay. What might I be doing with a DVD? This isn't as live as you always like it to be. There we go. There we go. Have a movie night. Yes, have a movie night. Can't invite my friends round because we can't still have friends in our house. But yes, I'll have a movie night. Get the popcorn out. Watch the DVD. Okay. And this book. Okay. So Marguerite Patton's top 100 top tea time treats. What might I use this book for in the future? How would I use this book? Why would I need this book this week? What would I be needing it? There's recipes for scones and more scones and Scotch pancakes, puff pastry, raisin and orange cake. These sounds like great things. What might I be doing with this book? Baking, yes, we're gonna bake some lots of lovely treats. There's been a lot of baking over lockdown. People have been making bread and banana bread and pizzas and all sorts. So we've been doing lots of baking. Okay, so here is a pair of very sparkly shoes. What I might need these sparkly shoes for. They're very uncomfortable, but they're quite pretty and they're quite glam. So I only wear them for certain events. So what might I use these shoes for? What might I be going to this week? Oh, we've got cooking, yep, for the bakery book, yep. What might I use these shoes for? No. What might I use these shoes for? The high heels. I haven't worn heels in like 15 weeks. I don't think I'll be able to walk in them. Okay. What might I use these very sparkly, uncomfortable high heels for? A party, yes. We might be going to a party this week. I don't think this week, maybe in a couple of weeks or a month or so. I've noted a lot of engagements the past week. Now the jewellery shop has opened. A couple of our friends getting engaged. So these shoes will be back out in a few months' time, and maybe for a wedding. Went to a wedding on Zoom last week, and that was very strange, but I didn't have to wear my high heels, thankfully. But sparkly shoes for a wedding that might be coming up with all these engagements now the jewellery shop's opened. So you can see that we get a little glimmer of what I'm doing the next couple of weeks just by one thing, whether it be my running shoes or my baking book. You can tell what might happen in the coming weeks. That's a little bit like the story we're going to be looking at this week. It's a story of Isaiah. Now, Isaiah is a big book in the Bible. We're not doing the whole book. We don't have time for that. But we have we have time for 1 week to look at it. And this story just covers the whole sort of gist of Isaiah, a good summary of Isaiah and who Isaiah was. Isaiah was a man who loved God, and God gave him lots of messages to give to other people, and he was known as a prophet. And there was lots of different prophets in the Bible, and God gave him messages to tell everyone about what was coming in the future. Not messages about like, oh, you know, bring your smart shoes, bring your brown shoes for a party that we're going to, or, you know, get your baking books out, we're going to be doing some baking. Nothing like that. It was much, much more important than my dancing shoes. So let's have a go at the story. We're on page 144. What time are we on? Oh, we're 22 already. Do you know what your name means? Well, there was once a man called Isaiah, and his name meant God to the rescue. That might sound like a bit like a funny name to you, but it was just the right name for Isaiah because God had a special job for Isaiah. You see, Isaiah's job was to listen to God and then tell people what he heard. Now, God let Isaiah know a secret. God was going to mend the broken world. He showed Isaiah his great big secret rescue plan, Operation No More Tears, No More Sadness. This is the message God gave Isaiah. It was like a letter God wrote to his children. Here's the letter. Dear little flock, you are all wandering away from me, like sheep in an open field. You have always been running away from me, and now you're lost. You can't find your way back. But I can't stop loving you. I will come to find you, so I'm sending you a shepherd to look after you and love you, to carry you home to me. You've been stumbling around like people in a dark room, but into the darkness a bright light will shine. It will chase away all the shadows like sunshine. A little baby will be born, a royal son. His mum will be a young girl who doesn't have a husband. His name will be Emmanuel, which means God has come to live with us. He is one of King David's children, the Prince of Peace. Yes, someone is going to come and rescue you, but he won't be who anyone expects. He will be a king, but he won't live in a palace, and he won't have lots of money. He will be poor, and he will be a servant. But this king will heal the whole world. He will be a hero. He will fight for his people and rescue them from their enemies. But he won't have big armies, and he won't fight with swords. He will make the blind see. He will make the lame leap like deer. He will make everything the way it was always meant to be. But people will hate him, and they won't listen to him. He will be like a lamb, and he will suffer and die. It's a secret rescue plan we made from the beginning of the world. It's only way to get you back. But he won't stay dead. I will make him alive again. And one day when he comes back to rule forever, the mountains and trees will dance and sing for joy. The earth will shout out loud. His fame will fill the whole earth as the waters cover the sea. Everything sad will come untrue. Even death is going to die, and he will wipe away every tear from every eye. Yes, the rescuer will come back for him. Watch him, wait for him. He will come, I promise. That was the end of the message. Poor Isaiah. He read God's letter over and over to God's people, but no one listened to him at all, ever. They didn't want to hear God's promise. They didn't believe it. Did it sound maybe too good to be true? A story that ends happily ever after? Well, it does sound like a fairy tale, doesn't it? And as anyone will quickly tell you, fairy tales aren't true. Or are they? In this story, we get a little glimmer of what's to come, a little glimmer of the Christmas story, a little glimmer of the Easter story. And it's showing us that God knew what was going to happen from the beginning of whenever he made the earth. He knew what was going to happen. He knew the future. And Isaiah tried to tell other people, but no one listened. That is the story of today. But God knows the future. He knew the future back with Isaiah, and he knows the future now. Because God was right, and Isaiah was right too. God did send a big rescuer to take away our sins, and that person was Jesus. God still knows the future. He knows our futures, and he knows your futures. So, this is the time that we have our craft. Now, there's no like cutting and sticking kind of craft today. It's more just of an activity. So if you go into aghadoweypci.co.uk, you will see there's like a little calendar. And I still don't have ink, and there's still a national shortage of my kind of ink that I need for my printer, of course. But if you click on just download print the calendar, it's a little calendar for July and August for your summer holidays for kids to kind of write in the plans that you might have as a family, and then there's space on the left hand side for you to draw them. And it's trying to get across the idea that we have plans, but God has an even bigger plans, and that sometimes our plans will change. Sometimes God's plan changes, but in the big scheme of things, God always has a plan, even whenever our plans go out of go wrong, just distracted by the very torrential rain outside. But even when God has a different plan, it still works out for you. You might have planned to go to the beach today, and looking out the window, that is not a day for the beach. God had a different plan. And so that's the idea that we're getting across, that yes, we have plans, but God knows the future, and that God has a bigger plan. Just like he told Isaiah the plan of his big rescue and sending Jesus. He knew the future, even when Isaiah was maybe unsure, or the other people around him were unsure. God knew the future, and even when their plans might have been different, or they thought they could have their own plans. So that's kind of the activity. Very quick description of it today, but you can spend time on that this afternoon and work away at it. And there's little memory verses at the bottom of it to remind the kids that yes, we make plans, but God ultimately knows the future and has an even bigger plan for us. So yeah, that's the craft as such today. And then now we have the quiz. So you need to grab your extra device, and it is on quizzes.com. So I'm just getting the settings all right. Play live. So I think there we go. Okay, so hopefully it will all work for you today. So the quiz code for this week is 597892. 597892. So join any device, use any device, and type in joinmyquiz.com, and the game code is 597892. And I'm going to get a wee link and put it on the. So you just have to click the link on the comment section below, and then that should bring you to it. And then I'll type in the code as well. Oh, we've got people starting already. We're getting fast at this. And then the game code is typed in the comments as well. So if you didn't hear me, or the comments come up quicker. Here we go. So everyone joining in. Now this quiz is a wee bit different. It's got a couple of questions on today's story, but there's also questions from previous week's Sunday School Lives, just because it's quite a simple story today. It was hard to get questions pulled out of it. It's not like a story where Jack and Jill went up the hill, or it was easy to get questions out of. So I just added in some questions over the past few weeks. We've got everyone joined on. Very good. Okay. So 597892. 597892. Oh, I'll see if I can get my phone on too. That is crazy rain outside. You're definitely not going to the beach this afternoon in that weather, whether you'd planned it or not. 597892. Join again. 597892. Okay, so 597892. We've got everyone? I think so. Let's press start. Okay, and I'll read out the questions as well. Okay. So what did Isaiah's name mean? God to the rescue, we rescue ourselves, God might rescue, or don't know. What was Isaiah's role in the Bible? He was a minister, a carpenter, a prophet, or a doctor. What did God tell Isaiah about? A new movie, his big rescue plan, what he should have for dinner, or what might happen but probably not happen. Lots of people listened and believed Isaiah's message from God. True or false? King David, this is from a couple of weeks ago, was a doctor, a shopkeeper, a shepherd, or a teacher. What did God use to show he would keep his promise to Noah? A big boat, lots of animals, a cloud, or a rainbow? When everyone was building a tower to heaven, how did God stop them? He made everyone sick, brought the tower down, made everyone speak different languages, or let them come to heaven. What was the name of Sarah and Abraham's son? Noah, Isaac, Daniel, or Joah? Who was given the coat of many colours? Abraham, Joseph, Jacob, or David? Some of you have been doing very well. You've obviously been paying lots of attention to all the Sunday school lives. Who did David kill in a battle with only a pebble? Goliath, Samuel. Missed the options. Very good. Quiz all done. Everyone has done very well today. Lots of people with 10 out of 10. Very good. Super duper. Okay, so let's move on to the next point. So we've done our quiz, and yeah, today's story was all about God knows the future. He knew the future with Isaiah. He knows the future with us, and that is what the message that I want to get across today. He was able to tell Isaiah all about what was going to happen. He knows our future as well. He knew about Jesus. Isaiah was able to tell everyone, but no one believed. And we get the whole picture, we get the entire story of the Bible, so we do get to see how God was right and that God did have a plan for us. Now, the song for this week is in the description above. It's a wee link to a YouTube song about how God has a plan. It's just a great way to get it into the kids' heads that God has a plan for us. We all learn in different ways. This is a way for us to sing the message of this story that God has a plan for you, me, and everyone else. And it's got actions, it's got lyrics. Have a go at it. I'm not going to sing it live on Facebook, so you can check that out between Sunday School Live and the church service. And then we've also got our Bible verse for this week. It's one that you will all know, and let me just bring it up here. We've got our memory verse cards that are on on our website, aghadoweypci.co.uk. Just print that off, and you've got lots of different little cards that you can collect over all the different weeks, and each card helps you to remember the story. They're like a little summary. And our verse today comes from Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you, not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Now, that verse is used an awful lot in church and then Sunday school, sometimes a bit overused and used in the wrong places. At that time, people were really, really scared, and they didn't know what was going to do, God was going to do, and God simply told them, I know the plans I have for you. So even in the scariest of times, even in times where like this, where we don't know if we're going to be in church one week or not, or if we don't know if we're going to go to school, when we're going to go back to school, we don't know if we're going to get to go on holiday, simple things like that, or even really big scary things, God knows the plan that he has for us. We just have to be patient and wait for him to show it. So that's our little verse for this week. Little top tip way of learning your memory verse for this week is getting sticky notes and writing a couple of words on the sticky notes, and then you put them on a window in all jumbled up in order, and because the back of them will stick on the window, and you have to try and get them into order and stick them back into the right order. And you can have lots of fun competing with your siblings, doing it fast or doing it, see who can do the fastest, or see you can do it the best, get all the words into the right order. Just have fun with it. It's a nice wee game on the window, just sticky notes, and have a go at that and try and get all the sticky notes back into order, and then parents can reshuffle them and the next sibling can have a go at getting the verse into the right order. So that's the little memory verse today. And then a wee prayer activity as well. This is probably one for the older ones, to be honest, and adults as well. Get onto this. Is getting a little notebook, or even just sticky notes or something just to write on, and you write down what you've prayed for that day along with the date. And it's always really nice to know, to look back on what you have prayed for over the past weeks, days, or months. And you can look back at that and see what God has answered in prayer, or see what he's still working on, or see how God's plans were different, and see how they actually worked maybe out better than what we had planned. So yeah, get like a wee notebook, write down the date, or even if you've got a diary, just stick in the wee corner, just write down what you've prayed for that day, and then you can look back on and see how God has answered your prayers, and see how God's plans have been revealed or been shown to you. And yeah, it's just a wee tip for you. Adults, get onto that as well. Or maybe the older kids, you can join in that. It's just another way of writing down your prayers and focusing on your prayers and see what God has answered, and show how amazing he has been throughout those days, weeks and months in your prayers. And it also gets you into a good routine of praying every day, because you then look at a big gap and you see a date that hasn't been filled in, you're like, oh, but don't feel guilty if you haven't prayed, just always strive to do better. So yeah, that's really it for Sunday School Live today. It was quite quick, simple, no drama with internet or maybe being 10 minutes late like last week. But I hope you enjoy Sunday School Live. I think we're going to be here for another week or two. We'll just have to see what's in store, see what God's plans are for us, because he knows the future and he knows what's going to happen. But yes, that's Sunday School Live for today. I hope you enjoyed it. We had fun drawing out your calendars for the summer, and just remember that God knows the future for us, whether it be tomorrow or the next few months or the next few years. He knows what's going to happen. So yeah, make sure you join us for Sunday service on YouTube. There's a link in the description, and you can click to it, get a cup of tea, get your Bibles out, get ready, get comfy, but not too comfy, for church. Don't want falling asleep on the sofa, and get ready for church this afternoon, for church today. And there's a song in the description as well. And yeah, that's it for today. And I'll see you next week.